I talked about Venezuela the other day, and a lot of people came at me saying, hey, don't you realize this is about drugs, fentanyl, and cartels? Well, that's not the whole story, guys. That's what they want you to believe. People think Trump's down there to stop drugs from coming into America. That's part of it, but that's not the mission. Drugs are the smallest part of the operation. This isn't about fentanyl, cocaine, or heroin. This is about money, drug money. It doesn't just move through the cartels. It moves through private banks, family offices, offshore structures, investment vehicles. It props up commercial banks. It backstops liquidity. It keeps the entire globalist financial system breathing when it should have collapsed a long time ago. From the US to Europe to the Far East, trillions of dollars. That's the real infrastructure. And that is what Trump is targeting. That's why he isn't really targeting governments. He's targeting funding arteries. And that terrifies the globalists more than anything on earth. Because banker-run economies don't survive on real production. They survive on invisible money flows. And Trump is forcing a shift back to reality. Real goods, real sovereignty, real borders, and real industry. That leaves the financial parasites behind. And they know it. And that's why they're desperate to keep war burning elsewhere. That's why Europe stays on fire. That's why Ukraine never ends. And that's why they scream about everything except what's happening on our own hemisphere. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The moment the U.S. military starts destroying narco-terrorists at home, the money trail lights up. One boat gets intercepted and suddenly the phones explode. Encrypted calls fly. Signals light up. You got messages getting sent. And our intelligence apparatus maps the entire spider web of connection. Who's paying who? Which banks are involved? Which family offices are involved? Which offshore jurisdictions? And which countries and which politicians are compromised? That's the real panic. That's why you're seeing coordinated attacks on Trump's people. That's why they're going after Pete Hegseth. That's why South American power brokers are screaming behind closed doors, calling their globalist handlers, demanding this be shut down because the money was flowing and now it isn't. Trump isn't just stopping drugs. He's choking the giants that fund the global system. And here's the truth. A massive portion of the world's legitimate financial system is soaked in narco money. And it has been for some time, which is why there never really was a war on drugs. And that's why thousands are dying from fentanyl, pointlessly for globalist greed. It could have been stopped, but our intelligence agencies protected those flows for decades because that money keeps their machine running too. Trump is disrupting that machine also. And when you attack the money, the system, not the headlines, not the ideology, and not the puppets, and the entire structure starts to shake and panic. That's what you're watching right now. Not a drug war, not foreign policy theater, a financial war. And for the first time in over a century, the globalists are on defense. Hey, join me on Patreon to chat more. The link is in my bio.